Mr. Zhang Christian, Mr. Gok Chotong, Madam Robinson, and Mr. Fukuda-san. Thank you very much for accepting the invitation, and Chairman Ollens as well. Thank you very much for joining us and accepting the invitation to speak. It gives me great pleasure to join you for this forum discussing China-U.S. relations. This is an annual gathering, and I have confidence that this will turn out to be a very successful event. Currently, we are facing changes unseen in a century, and we also see the overlap of the pandemic challenges. Those challenges are intertwined, and those challenges are making world economic recovery difficult and tortuous. Inflation and financial risks are also gaining momentum, and we believe there are more uncertainties looming on the horizon. China-U.S. relations are arguably the most important relations in the world today, and that relationship has actually suffered the most difficult period since the establishment of diplomatic relations between China and the U.S. It has deviated from the right course. It is my opinion that a stable U.S.-China relationship is important for both countries, and it's also the common aspiration of countries around the world. On the 16th of November 2021, the Chinese and U.S. presidents held their first virtual meeting, and they held extensive and in-depth talks on strategic, overarching, and fundamental issues concerning China-U.S. relations and other important issues of concern. President Xi took stock of the experience and lessons learned in the development of China-U.S. relations and put forward 3 principles that shall undermine China-U.S. relations in the new era: mutual respect, peaceful coexistence, and win-win cooperation. I believe these 3 principles are very important and pointing to the direction of our future relations. And on this matter, I would like to share a number of observations. First, regarding mutual respect, we see this as a prerequisite for the development of Sino-U.S. relations. We should respect each other's social systems and development paths. The world is colorful and diverse, and China and the U.S. practice different social systems. A choice determined by history and the minds of our peoples. China has no intention to change the U.S., and the U.S. cannot force changes upon China. I think we should encourage each other to find a path that suits its national conditions and objectives. We should respect our comparative core interests and major concerns, and make sure we manage issues involving sovereignty, security, and development with a lot of prudence. We shall not cross the bottom line nor create troubles for the other. We should respect our rights to development, respectively, as China has the right to development and Chinese people have the right to pursue a better life. And a prosperous and stable China will bring not threats, but opportunities to the world. Mutual respect also means treating each other as equals in our interactions. The U.S. talks to others from a vantage point of strength. This is typical of hegemonic thinking, and this kind of condescending approach should have been cast into the dustbin of history. We should adhere to the basic norms of international relations based on the Charter of the UN, where all countries, big and small, are equal. Second, on peaceful coexistence. This is the basis for the development of Sino-U.S. relations. Peace and development are the themes of our time, and the Chinese people have always been peace-loving and advocating peace. We respect harmony and difference. We believe in love and non-aggression. China has been a contributor of world peace, of global development, and a defender of international order, a supplier of public goods. The U.S. should not establish China as a hypothetical enemy by drawing ideological lines and satisfying the needs of some domestic interest groups, which may eventually lead to a self-fulfilling prophecy. Peaceful coexistence needs to adhere to the bottom line of non-conflict and non-confrontation. It's only natural for China and the U.S. to have differences. It is crucial to abandon the obsolete Cold War thinking and mentality and confrontation. We should control and manage our differences constructively and strategically, avoid expanding and escalating differences. We should strengthen dialogue, exchange, and communication at all levels in all fields, enhance mutual understanding and trust, and avoid strategic miscalculation. Win-win cooperation is the goal of developing Sino-U.S. relations. With the further development of technological innovation and globalization, resources and factors have achieved large-scale cross-border movement. In state-to-state relations, mutual benefits shall replace zero-sum games. And the interests of China and the U.S. are deeply intertwined and dependent on each other. And cooperation is mutually beneficial, and fighting each other is mutually destructive. The two sides should work together to explore the path of win-win cooperation, which is in line with the trend of the times. And it's in the interests of the two peoples of China and the U.S. and people of the world. China and the U.S. currently have a wide range of common interests in bilateral and global affairs, and we shall strengthen cooperation in those key areas to transform the potential for cooperation into the momentum of development of our bilateral relations.
So in the following areas, we can step up cooperation. First, we can strengthen anti-COVID cooperation. COVID variants and rapid spread have posed serious threats to the life and security of all nations. This is the biggest single challenge facing the whole world. China and the U.S. should strengthen cooperation under the guidance of the WHO and jointly promote the development of vaccines and medicine and raise information transparency and data sharing standards. Enhance the equity of the international distribution of vaccines. Coordinate cross-border travels to help the world emerge from COVID as soon as possible. Second, I think we should also strengthen cooperation on climate actions through joint efforts. Last year, the two sides issued the China-U.S. joint statement addressing the climate crisis and the U.S.-China joint Glasgow declaration, laying down a key foundation for the deep-going climate cooperation between the two countries. Combined, our carbon emissions exceed 40% of the world's total. We should join hands to strengthen cooperation on climate action, accelerate green and low carbon transition and technological innovation, to lead by example for the rest of the world. Third, we should strengthen trade and economic cooperation. Trade and economic cooperation is the ballast and propeller of China-U.S. relations. Despite the impact of COVID and other factors, in 2020, China once again became the U.S.'s largest trading partner. Last year, China-U.S. total imports and exports were up 28.7% year-on-year, which fully speaks to the intertwined and mutually supportive trade and economic relations between the two sides and their huge resilience and potentials. China is pursuing opening up on larger scale, in broader scope, and at a deeper level, which will create greater development opportunities for business communities across the world, including that of the United States. Number four, I think we should strengthen science and technology cooperation. In recent years, some in the US government has been politicizing tech issues, building walls, decoupling, and blocking in this area, which brings adverse impact on our cooperative R&D efforts. According to US media, 60% of US respondents support close cooperation with Chinese tech companies. I hope the US can view the situation fairly, open up and tear down walls and stop irrational suppression and restriction of Chinese tech companies and jointly promote science and technology progress for humanity. Number five, we should strengthen global governance cooperation. The pandemic shows once again that all countries in the world are in a community of a shared future that rises and falls together. Multilateralism is the only feasible option to take on global challenges. China and the United States should work together to uphold the global multilateral trading system with the United Nations at the core and the World Bank, IMF, and WTO as key pillars. Fully tap into the role of multilateral institutions such as the G20, maintain fair and just international order, and provide more public goods for the world. Distinguished guests, I think mutual respect, peaceful coexistence, and win-win cooperation are the principles that China and the US should observe in their interactions. They also provide important reference for all nations in the world as two big countries. China and the United States should take responsibilities and lead by example. I believe as long as we abide by and implement these three principles, we can move China-US relationship onto the right track to the benefit of both countries and the whole world. I wish this forum a complete success. Thank you.